Welcome everybody to the live stream. Um, I am Lauren Eddles. You are here at my house with a sleepy Roy at the end of the bed. Um, he's adorable. And yeah, um, I don't know why my jaw just started hurting. Anyway, hi.
Oh no, that's not good.
So, who are you, JC?
I am here.
That's
I,
where you are, not who you are.
I am a person,
That's
place,
what you are.
thing, person, place, thing. I'm a writer and a mom, and I make videos. And yeah, that's all I got.
Okie
That was
dokie.
that was fast. It's my turn. Okay, let me see if I
Yeah.
can multitask.
You
You
are the
guys are
queen of
not
multitasking.
you guys are
There.
not seeing what I'm doing, but it's hard to talk and concentrate. But I will try my hardest. I am Esther Marie Andujar. I'm a Puerto Rican writer aspiring to be a hybrid career author. I do have a YouTube channel that I remember occasionally that I post things. And I do stream on Friday evenings, 6 p.m. Eastern. I write things, I publish things. Some of them are under my name, some of them are under fake names, aka pen names. That's me.
Yay! And I am me. Surprise! I have a horror collection out called Tiny Shivers, and I'm currently working on a Halloween paranormal romance thingamajig. Still does not have a name, but yeah. And now my foot is asleep. Ugh. Okay, so I have some people in chat. It appears. So hello, Eva. Hi. And Becca, hello. I love your profile picture. And Mars, heyo. Who's that strange Esther? They must be awesome. Hello,
It's
cool gamer.
See, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Hazelnut. Can't stay tonight either. Gotta work again. Oh
Well,
get that
no. Yay,
money.
it's
money.
okay. The fact that you popped in to say hello means a lot.
Get that money.
I have a job interview tomorrow. So,
Sending you
yeah.
all the positive, all the this is my job vibes your way.
Thank you.
Get it.
JC has books out. She's a
I
poet
do.
too.
Thank
And
you.
tomorrow is Friday for an Esther stream. Woohoo!
Oh, true. That's true.
Eva, you're also a poet.
And she does know it. So, I have come up with some questions. And I figured we could do question one before we go into a sprint.
Okay.
Because I have 4 questions. Eva says, I may do some childcare this summer for some kids that are around my son's age. I haven't met them yet, though. Talk of jobs reminded me, where it flaps around. Yes. Hello, Joanne. Welcome. So question 1. What is the most niche world building aspect you ever created or designed?
Oh, do I want it? Well, no, I'm not gonna. I did not create
Nothing.
it. I, I slightly. Well, I don't think it's. I don't think it's unique, because I don't feel like there are any like truly unique ideas. Someone else must have thought of it, and I've seen it in some media. Um, not. I've seen a lot of like mirrors being used like kind of like as a doorway or portals in
Uh
magic,
huh.
but besides that I am using it, and this is kind of like taking it as an inspiration from another media, kind of like a way to curse people, like
Ooh.
target curse someone. Um, so that's, and I took it from like a, I don't know how to explain that, but it's a very short mystery horror paranormal Thai drama. It's not a BL. It's not a BL. It's very short. It does lean into horror, especially Thai horror, but it also has a lot of paranormal things. And one of the things that they use is they use mirrors for a lot of things, but one of the uses was kind of like to target someone, not as in a curse. So it was more like, oh, this is kind of like a tag on you, so we know you're being targeted. And I'm using it more like, yes, it's a tag, but it's also a curse.
Very
So
cool.
that's what I'm using it.
And hello, Rita. So, Eva, an example for me would be some niche world building. Is I have never come up with song lyrics before for bands that are in my world,
Mm.
because I've never had bands in my world before. And so I don't think many people come up with fake bands and lyrics in their songs in their worlds where it's not a band fic.
I
Like,
mean, I didn't create songs, but
Tiffany.
well, yeah, uh, but the K-pop band Stefania fingers over in my K-pop books, that is fictional. It's inspired by other groups. It's an amalgamation of other groups, but it is entire. Like it's just like if I were to build a K-pop group, what would it be?
mhm.
This
Yeah.
sort of,
So like it's niche. It's not
yeah,
common that most novelists don't do it for every book.
true, 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 true.
Um, like sometimes people get so pared down in their world building that they even know how the shoelaces for their fairies are created. Like there's some
Wow.
niche stuff that people come up with.
Wow.
It's really awesome. Um, Rita says, I have portals in one of my series too. Very cool. Mara says, not sure if it's niche, but I love playing around with biology and gender in fantasy settings. For example, in my current project, whimsy dwarves are not sexually dimorphic and elves can change their sex. That's cool.
You know,
Ooh.
if I got really into world building, I could see me being one of those people. Like if I was to get as into world building as like Mia is, I could see me being one of those people that was like, oh, I know down to the shoelaces what they're made of, because I'm that much of a detailed outline. Like I need to know everything.
So,
No.
um, oh yeah, like come for Crimson Strings, my super niche thing was coming up with the life cycle of the vampire with the
Mm-hmm.
reincarnation and the soul butterflies and everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was a lot of people don't go into the what happens to the vampire's soul after it gets destroyed or dies or whatever. So that was pretty niche for that one. For this Halloween one, what's been pretty niche and is coming up with how doll people can function and reproduce in my world, um, and
Doll
how
people.
I
Wow.
get a doll person to be able to reproduce with a vampire and not shatter because they're a porcelain doll. So, like it's been really cool doing the biology of the fantasy creatures. Um, so that's been fun.
So, question for the dolls: is just their skin is porcelain, or skin, organs, muscles, everything is porcelain?
Yeah.
They must be heavy.
Uh huh.
Oh wow.
But they're not all porcelain. There's a variety. Like there's rag dolls, there's porcelain dolls, there's ball joint dolls. Um, and so a lot of them are very gender fluid because they can just swap out their parts for other doll parts. Um,
Nice.
and yeah, it's really cool. Um, Eva said, vampires. I have an origin story in my fantasy that's meant to be the first vampire. For example, yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, that reminds me. I sort of, not sort of, I did not created the lore for my vampires. I created the lore for a specific lineage, but since I am bringing that world into like the world of Marina and all of that, I cannot say anything. It'll eventually be out, but there's gonna be a lineage there that there are vampires, but a little bit higher in the hierarchy because of things.
Mhm. I also have the origin of born vampires written out for Crimson Strings. Lilith's son, um, and I wrote a flash fiction of the birth scene, so that was fun. But Mara says, "Oh, I came up with some fake songs for Bewitched because that's about a band akin to the Hex Girls. My lyrics suck though, so if I go back to the story, I'd probably hire someone to write new ones." Very valid. The story doesn't have vampires in it at all. Nice.
They're around.
As it says, the witches in one world are both male and female, and they each have symbols on their hands to represent the powers they have. These powers come about around 14 years of age.
Nice.
It's fine. I have something similar to horoscopes in that fantasy world too. That's really cool. I don't see horoscopes done very often
No.
in books. So that's really
They're
cool.
hard. They're hard. I do have a magic system that is based on horoscope. Haven't found a world or a story to insert the system in it. Because that's what we do. We just either create a world or a magic system or a couple of characters or a town, and then we're like, so how do I pair everything together?
Mm-hmm. Hello, Tiffany. Just sitting here fighting with a new world building tool. No big deal. I generally know the names of most everything on my restaurant menus. That's awesome.
Nice.
And do you create mascots for my sports teams?
True.
Time ran away from me. Be there in a bit. Okay, cool. Like I know all the flavors for my ice cream creamery. Nice. Now I want ice cream. Thanks, Tiffany. Oh, there's a character going to the school for herbalism, so there's a garden worth of made up plants and veggies and fruits for the fantasy too. That's awesome.
Nice.
Fantastical herbology.
Yes.
Hire me. I don't know, man. I really did enjoy writing the lyrics, but they're just snippets. So they're like two stanzas or couplets. Yeah, couplets. Yeah. The butterflies and moth people in my world, they inherit the wings from their mates, and the new wings blossom upon completion. Of course, that is only if their chosen mate accepts. That's cool. Give me my
Do
ice
they
cream.
do they magically share them, or do they rip the wings out to get to like put them back? Okay, I got a little too gruesome there, but just wondering the mechanics.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Felicia.
Uh,
Let's see, the entire fantasy story is just world building. I haven't read any of it yet. Have I? I don't remember. She's a 13-year-old story now. At least 90k plus words in that file.
wow.
Woo! That is a lot of world building.
Mhm.
That's awesome. So, we've been going for just over 15 minutes now, so I believe it is time for a sprint, which means I need to
guess.
pull up a timer.
I guess. I guess. Okay, they magically shared them. Good to know. Thank you, Nicole. Good to know.
Share screen.
I mean, but magic can be brutal too. So, ooh, spooky.
It's magic. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Very cool. So the question for the first sprint that we shall read the answers for when we get back is, how do you come up with titles for your stories? When in the process do you do it? And that is my question, because I have not been able to come up with a title for this story yet. So I need help. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
We have picked up some strays.
Hello, strays. Hi, strays. Stragglers.
Hello.
Stragglers, if you will.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I was just applying for jobs that whole sprint. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Anything strikes your fancy? Like anything that you were really excited for, hoping to get back? No.
Hoping to get back from any of them. But excited? No.
Ah, I understand that. I understand that.
Yeah. So, it helps me pay the bills. I'm happy.
Feel ya.
So what did you
Yeah.
guys get up to that sprint?
I changed locations and I was reading.
Uh, yes,
Is
sir.
Esther here? Esther? Maybe not. Oh.
I am. I was just I was in another tab. Sorry. I am working on my Q2 planning, so that's what I've been doing.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing. I forgot. Okay.
It's the day that I was supposed to do my planning. I did other things, so I'm like, we need to
So,
compensate today.
You're not going to do it for your stream tomorrow?
My stream will be monthly. I will be planning April's month.
Ah, okay.
Quarter one will be. I will have to be there for like 4 or 5 hours, and I can't. If I do the quarter, if I do the month, I'm good with 2 hours.
tomorrow.
Makes sense.
Yes.
I'll maybe try planning tomorrow. Maybe. I probably will be moving tomorrow. Maybe Monday. I'll try planning on Monday. um
The last day of the month.
the last day of the month.
Yeah.
Um I did quite a few things this sprint. I finished up my school stuff.
For the day or as a whole?
For the week because I pushed to finish everything for the week because I don't know how the weekend is gonna pan out. I know my internet is gonna pan out. So
That's true.
I tried to turn everything in. Um so I did that and then I started reading through a book that was already too long and accidentally added more words to it. So yeah, that was my
Yeah.
sprint.
Oh.
I feel like you knew you were going to do that, though.
What?
I'm gonna stay out of that. You, you're your own friend. I'm sorry.
So what,
Yeah.
yeah.
I started doing a little bit of research for the dystopian that I'm writing. Laura suggested a series to me, but I started watching. I'm like, oh, this is gonna
Oh,
traumatize me. So
what part are you on, Mia?
I barely got through half of the first one. I was like, yeah,
Okay.
no,
I'm on part 3. I got to part 3
Oh
today.
my lord, you made it that far?
Yo, watch it.
It's a
Oh,
documentary called Keep Sweet, Pray, and
Pray
Obey.
obey.
You know,
Yeah.
What's it about?
one of
Let
the
me go Google it.
many
Keep sweet,
FPLS.
documentary.
keep sweet. What was the last part?
Hold on.
Pray.
Type it.
Oh,
right.
pray and obey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
And I was like, oh, I'm gonna need the clip notes on this because this is, oh my goodness.
Oh.
I'm like, I see where you're going.
So
It's
you
gonna get
saw
you.
the part that I told you about the other day.
Yes. Oh yes. Yes. Yes.
Mm, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh. Mm.
Oh, I mixed the letters up. Sorry.
So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. That makes much more sense, Laura. I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
But
Interesting.
I think I'm gonna wrap this up and then start planning for Q two. Yeah, Q2. That's the thing
Mia,
that's about to happen.
you gotta finish watching it though. You watch it with
I
your
don't
friend.
know that I want to. My
I
dystopian is not
mean,
enough.
it's astonishing. It's just it gets. If
Is
you thought the first part was something.
See, I'm a little bit scary. I just looked at what it is, and in Jamaica, this denomination is questionable. So I can just imagine in America that's bigger. So interesting. Well, see, I might watch it. I like watching things that question or
Questionable.
or show the
And
the,
it's not,
like, the other sides of religion.
yeah, and it's not so much the LDS. It's this
It's the
particular,
FLDS,
yeah, it's
the
the F,
fundamental.
and yeah, that's where it got.
It's this guy in
I didn't even know
particular.
they were different.
It's this
It's
guy
this
in
guy, and
particular.
then this guy's son after this guy. So it's
No,
kind of
no,
like,
but
oh,
the father. I mean, he was bad, but
bad. That was bad.
the father had different principles. The son was doing it for money, just straight up greed.
Money and
Oh, so it's a specific organization. I don't know what to call them. It's a specific institution.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
And
Some
then the
people
bad
are all about the
thing just
money.
started getting younger and younger, and I was like, oh,
yeah. He went to the illegal. Like, at least the father. He
kept
waited
them at
until
the
they
right
got legal age, at least.
all the right thing with the
So
father.
if you need any dystopia reference, that's a good documentary to watch.
Yeah.
But yes.
Is it
So
dystopia if it actually happened though?
That's
But okay.
that
I was
dystopian draws from reality.
Nia, when I was watching it today, I really was like, oh yeah, this is perfect research for Nia. Like, especially when you get to part 3. But
That's
anyway,
I was looking at it because you can read the little things about what's about to happen, and I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah.
See, I just read the IMDb and I read some things that were like, wait, what?
hmm
it's a
Okay.
documentary, so it's all it
It's all
happened.
real.
I feel like I've
Um,
heard that gentleman's name before though. So
Yeah, he was on the news.
probably have. I heard it before this, but I just hadn't really thought to watch it. It just kind of creeped me out just looking at what it was about. But Laura, said it was good. So, and I've been watching documentaries lately. I watched the Madeline
mm,
McCann one before this one. So
so Mars did some work on Whimsy, which is awesome.
I like
Wow.
that. Is that the title or just the project name? Mars. Just
I
curious.
don't know. Hazelnut says, I don't know how many words I wrote, but I made some progress. I finished rewriting His Immortal Majesty, and I'm working on Her Eternal Reign, and they had to leave for work. Rita is cooking supper, so popping in and out makes sense.
Hi, Shannon.
Oh, wait, that was part of the other answer. Gwenna says 281 in the last 20 minutes. Amazing. Hello, Tammy.
hi.
Hooray, the dog food arrived.
Yay.
Hi, Regina. I don't think I said hi.
Hi, Regina.
And hi, Vicky,
Hello.
who's allergic to the band-aids. It's terrible.
Oh,
Hi,
Uh,
Shannon.
Yes, hello, everybody.
oh, Whimsy is the name of the continent. Ooh.
Whimsy is the name of the continent country that the story takes place in. I don't have a name for the books yet, so it's just like acting as a placeholder name. Yes, hello. And hi.
That ties into Laura's question so
Yay for
nice.
dog food.
Right?
So, question number 2 was, how do you come up with titles for your stories? When in the process do you do it? So, JC.
It depends on the project. Sometimes I come up with the title first and then build the story around it, and sometimes I build the story and then come up with the title later. So, I, my answer is different for depending on the project. So I have no answer. Sorry, that
What about
wasn't
you,
helpful.
Esther?
I I used to not struggle with titles until I started writing stories without titles, and then it became a nightmare. Um, uh, partially, so it helps. Honestly, it helps. For Sally, it's usually easier because I am capitalizing on a trope that I wanted to be very obvious in the title, or I am working on a collab book that kind of like has a team around the title. So at least I have a guidance. If it's not any of that, I mostly just pull on the most important elements of the story and play with that and see what I come up with. Like, what I'm currently writing for my paranormal series, The Witch and Her Shadow, it's literally about the characters and kind of like their relationship, and you can tell that the entire story is about these two people and the relationship between them. So that's kind of like how I go about it. Am I successful at it? I don't know. But that's how I title. I work with titles that way. It's certainly easy if you have like a team or a trope that you're capitalizing on. D.
Um, for me, it depends on the genre of the book. For the romance ones, it's pretty easy to title the books because well now because right now I'm just going in trophy titles where I just figure out how to put the trope in the title believably that the most popular trope that I think will attract the readers I'm looking for. But if it's not, and but I only do that for romance and for the short romance, because for my full length, I try to keep titles tropey, yes, but I try to also tie it to whatever motif I have in the
The
story
series.
or the series. But for my other genres, like for thriller, I tie it to whatever the main theme is. Um, for fantasy, yes, I do have fantasies. Don't question it. I'm probably outing myself right now. But for the fantasy stories,
No one has said
I,
anything. There's no reaction, and you're like preemptively like, hold on, don't do anything, don't
because I try not
move.
to let people in my Delulu worlds. But
That's okay.
for the fantasy series, normally I name them based on the character or the town that it's in because generally the stories that I've experimented with fantasy has like it has something particular about like a specific family or a specific town or like the family has a specific gift. So I name it from based on the family or town because it's around that gift. But yeah, different genres, different things. But I think if this is related to what you're working on, if I was in your shoes,
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably A is a romance, sure, but B is
Yes.
also Halloweenish. So I'll
Yes.
probably try to
Mhm.
draw a title
And
that
it's queer.
attracts both, like gives both spooky yet still the main theme vibe in your book because it is still a romance. So I'll try to see what the
Uh-huh.
main theme or trope is in your story and try to figure out how the best way to spin that in a spooky way is. That's what I would do because that
Mm-hmm.
way I get the spooky readers and the romance readers all together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, your turn.
For me, it also kind of depends on what it is that I'm writing because I write in a lot of different genres. Sometimes the titles have a theme, which makes it easier. Um, and I will crowdsource some titles. Sometimes I'll be like, "Hey guys, what would be cool for this?" And that's always a fun way because we have a very talented um, group of writer friends around here, so we always get some fun ideas from them. A lot of times, I think I have a name, but I'm not sure, so it just becomes a project so and so. sometimes just from that, I will start to fall in love with the name, and I become so attached to that being the name that it's no longer Project So and So. That actually becomes the name. And sometimes it's just Project whatever I think it's gonna be, and by the time I'm done, I'm like, that ain't it. And somewhere in the middle or by the end, I realize what the title is, and so then I can be like, surprise, this is the actual title of this thing. So sometimes you think it's going to be one thing, especially when you're writing really, really long stuff. By the time you get to the end, you're like, that ain't it. This is what it is.
Mhm,
I'm
mhm.
gonna bring a quote unquote controversial thing. This is a great moment to bring AI or ChatGPT so you can just spew concepts and like themes and tropes and ask for 10, 15 titles and just sort through them. A lot of the times, none of the titles work. I'm letting you know, none of the titles work. But there might be pieces here and there that you're like, oh, this word here, this phrase here, this word here. It's pretty much it. I mean, if you have a group of friends that you can uh, spitball ideas, certainly. If you don't, or if you need to be more secretive or anything like that, that is a decent use for AI for like chat GPT kind of situation because it's just like throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what happens.
Mhm. Um, Eva says, "Ta-da!" And usually at the start, as almost a prompt for the story itself, the title being based on or inspired by a premise.
Interesting. So you write
Yeah.
your story based from the title.
Mars says titles are either the first or last thing I come up with, like Forever in the Dark or The Last Train from Salvation. I knew those from day one. Meanwhile, Whimsy is just a question mark for the actual title. I feel that. So, for my titles, a lot of the times I just rattle them off the top of my head. Um, but usually they're with draft one. As I'm pantsing, I have a title, or even before I start drafting, I have a title. Like the Clamoring of Engines, I have that title for that short story already, even though I haven't. All I have is a mood board, um, and a prompt. So, and it's like I don't know, man. It's sometimes I come up with the title and it's like I can do better. And so it's like I need it to be more memorable. And so I have to rework a title.
Maybe this is a story that you just don't get the title till you actually have it. So maybe this is one that you just call Project Halloween. And then you write
Yeah.
the story and see if it comes to you along the way.
Yeah. Here's what it says. I gave it a temp title before I got stop it, computer. Before I got too far, so I can talk about it. Just a one sentence summary of the story. Could be as long or short as you want. Oh no! Yawning. Um, let's see. When it says, I want to say I get the title when I first write it, but being honest with myself, I've changed my titles halfway through querying 3 out of 3 times. Like, I think Lizelle, when she queried Blood Like Magic, it didn't have a title when she queried it or sold it.
Mm, I think so. I think her agent or the editor came up with the title.
Yeah. Regina says sometimes the title comes first, especially in a series. I have a pattern or develop one for the series to follow. The Wedding Wager, The Wedding Hope, uh, TW Venture, etc. Oh, The Wedding Adventure. Nice. Talking about band-aids.
Yes, Anna, you can actually query a book without a title.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, it can be just project something. Because
I didn't know that either.
titles most of the time will change. So, mm,
Yeah, and you
not
could give it a title, and the agent or whoever buys the book won't like the title, and they'll give it a new one anyway.
yeah. Or by the time your book's out, then a book already is out with the same title, and it could be great, or the book can tank, and then you don't want to be related to a book that tank with the
Yeah.
same title.
Or an agent might be like, this is a thing that's really popular right now, and your book has it. So if we shove this word in the title, it's golden.
In fact, I think Lazelle's Tender Beast. I don't think that's what it was called when she pitched it to her agent. I think they
I think it
renamed it.
was
No, it was different too.
Blackbirds,
Yeah, I think it
Butcher
was
Birds, Butcher
that.
Birds,
Butcher Birds.
Yeah.
Butcher Birds. Yeah, and so now, yeah.
Hmm.
The
That
only
to
one
me
that
sounds like a whole
stayed the
different
same
story.
was Mastery, the one that's still not that releases this year, next year.
Mastery of
Her
Monsters.
Monster and
Yeah.
Monsters. That's the one that has stayed the same. The other ones have changed.
But even that title wasn't her. That wasn't her. That was they did a whole list of titles. They gave her a list of titles and she picked the title, but she didn't come up with that title. They came up with a list and she picked it out of the list that they gave her.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nikki says, my titles come from when I'm coming up with ideas for my book. Rita says, my titles come to me during the outlining and world building. However, they have been known to change after the first draft has been written. They are fickle. Some book titles come to me in dreams. The title for A Curse of Scales of Feathers from Rachel Lockman-Singh's AWC presentation in 2022. Titles come at all different times. Sometimes I know a title before I barely start the story. It's really a random process for me.
Oh, and correction. Tender Beast was not the one originally called. I don't know what it was originally called, but Delicious Monsters was the one that was Butcher Birds at first because there's Butcher Birds in the actual book. So that's why
Okay.
she called it Butcher Bird. I
Okay.
just remembered that.
Feast of the Blood and Broken is a book title for a story I'd only written a paragraph for. I have more now, and it's my vampire origin story. Nice. Uh, Jessica says, it just comes to me whenever, but usually when I start plotting it. And Mara says, it's a silly little self-indulgent fantasy romance with queer characters, troubled family dynamics, a marriage of convenience, and so many more of my favorite tropes. I love it. Let's see. Tiffany says, I agree with Esther. What you get back probably won't work, but it can give you a starting place.
Mhm.
Anna says, usually the titles come to me fairly seamlessly. Like, I'll have the title in my head, or it'll just come as I draft it. Worst case, I just get a line from the story if I really need one and don't have it. It's usually for fanfic, though. Yay, fanfic. Yes. No.
Yeah, I don't know about all three.
That is a tall
genre, or
order.
synopsis.
Tall order, man.
That is.
I mean, I'd accept it when I know
She said
you.
it's good, I promise.
It's a tall order.
Like, we know that, but they don't know that. Gotta give them something, Anna.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hello, Elise. Enjoy making dinner. Let's see. Use ChatGPT for your most recent short story. I gave it all of my titles and the short story and asked for ideas, but none of them worked as is. But I took 2 words from 2 different titles to use in my final title. The title became Forsaken by Sun and Sea. I took Forsake from one title and the idea of Fire and Sea and switched out Fire for Sun. All the love. All the love. Okay, let me get another timer. If I could type, that would be fabulous. I'm possibly in a spooky mood.
Ooh.
I mean,
Possibly.
you are writing a Halloween
And I
town.
believe you are also wearing the Dracula shirt. So I
I was about
mean,
to ask you what your shirt said because I couldn't see all of it.
Dracula,
Okay.
and it has the hand in the coffin.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, the third question for sprint number 2 is: how do you practice / improve writing spice scenes?
Damn, D.
I hear you giggle.
Lord Jesus.
oh boy.
You wanna I mean
It's
you're not monetized,
writing,
but
writing the scenes.
I
That's
I might plead the
I said
fifth
practice. You
here.
say practice. Shannon said practice.
I'm sorry. I don't
Practice
know why
writing
this
them,
question took me
improve
out
on
so much.
writing
It's a
them.
practice for me. I'm
I feel like
sorry.
Nia has the answer for that.
Why me? I'm an innocent.
Your practice is balcony involves a balcony and some yoga. Just kidding.
Mm-mm. Shannon had the same reaction, but okay. I have to quit. I have to be
Okay.
quiet.
Anyway, let's begin. 3, 2, 1, go! All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, welcome back. Hopefully, I'm not the only one here. La 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 la.
Hi, here.
Yay! Well, that sprint, I ate a sleeve of Ritz crackers. It was a small sleeve. And I ate some chips and queso that I had made. And I was looking at a application I had sent, and they wanted me to do some stuff before they go through. And watched a little bit of the Troublemaker stream, and played with Roy, and he was adorable.
This is one.
Oop. Sorry, my book tried to start. No, stop, book, stop.
Nice.
I went to move my phone and I accidentally hit the unpause. I'm like, whoopsie.
Is it a spicy book?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You don't
I
don't know.
I'm back. I thought I was going to be able to come before the time was up, but I was like, no, run.
Love it. So, let's see. Shannon got 39 words while editing a novella. Mars got spent the entire sprint making a YouTube short that's just vibes for whimsy. And I just got 935 words of outline for that sprint. Oh, and okay, so I subscribed to the author, Sarah Raish, and she posted a new short to promote Go Luck Yourself, and it took me out. It took me all the way out. It was so good. Anyway, I sent it to you, Jessica. Yeah. So that's what I did. What'd you get up to, JC?
Making dinner, which is almost done.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
What
it.
did you do, Esther?
What did I do? Oh, I watch a little bit more of the HB90 videos. And I got some yogurt with some nuts and dry fruit. And then I ran for water because I needed a refill. And almost my computer all froze, and I was like, no, stop it. So it was an eventful 45 minutes. D.
Yogurt. I haven't made yogurt in so long. When I move, I will. Another big tub. Anyway.
I finished my strawberry one. And I'm like,
I read through another chapter. I did not add any more words. That's a good thing for me. That's all I did.
good job.
Yeah.
Yay for not adding more words.
Yeah, good job, certainly.
I'll just say I started out with it being a short, and it's at 55,000 words right now, so it doesn't need any more words.
So we're
No,
talking.
it-
So we're talking novella then.
At this point, she's very close. If she doesn't stop, she will be close to being a full length.
Yep.
She needs to
I'm
trim
not
that
adding
down.
anymore, okay? I'm not adding anymore. It's okay.
You
It's
said
okay.
that.
Okay.
You said that.
I wrapped up dinner. We had chicken and vegetables and started an audiobook and did some planning while I listened to the beginning of this audiobook to decide if I want to keep listening to it. So I probably will.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jessica approved of the short. Also, with the chapter that she's writing, it's freaking perfect. Heck yeah!
Nice.
Nikki said, filled out 4 pages in my Create a Book journal. That's the answer. Let's see. 500 words. Bye, friends. Bye, Gwenna.
Bye,
Yeah.
That was very much a Gwenna in chat.
Like, I'm out.
Yeah, she like came in, did whatever she needed to do, and was peace out. All of it in chat.
So I'm going to go over the chat's answers first for the question. Question is, how do you practice / improve writing spice scenes? Yes, the pause. Mars says, fanfic. That way I don't have to worry about making up characters or settings or anything. I can just borrow from elsewhere and do what I gotta do. Exactly. For sure. For sure. And Shannon says, not sure how to answer this. I practiced my very first scene by doing a Greek mythology retelling. All the rest has ended up in books with the benefit of alpha beta readers seeing it ahead of time. So you get your feedback. That's awesome. For my third such scene, one of my beta readers gave me the greatest compliment by stating it read similar enough to other stories that it fit right in the genre. Today I've only written 5 scenes. Very cool. Jessica said, I read a lot of spice, but I also write a lot of it too. I always have a folder full of spare scenes, which are usually spicy scenes of varying heat and kink to test out how my characters like it. Very cool. Tiffany says, this might sound simple, but reading steamy scenes and making note of what I like about them and dislike about them, and then writing one scene different ways and from different perspectives. Excellent. Thanks. And Nick says, never really written a spicy scene. Need help and tips. Yeah. Mia will be back. And Tiffany says, ate dinner and now back to Notion. Look needs to go outside, so I'm in the chat. Sounds good. I fed Roy during that sprint too. He was a happy boy. There was queso on his kibble.
Oh, Sam, they went outside. That was part of the happenings of that sprint.
So, people's on the screen. Oh, wait. Ooh, one more. I guess I read a whole lot of spice, though. Yeah. Reading definitely helps you see how it can be done. What you like, what you don't like. So, just finished book number 73 for this year. Amazing!
Ooh. Congratulations.
You
Wish
do
I
mean
could
reading book
Yeah,
73, not writing. Right?
Either way,
With Shannon,
congratulations.
with Shannon, you don't know.
You never know. Yeah, with Shannon, you never know. Is 73 reading or is 73 writing? I will
'Cause
believe both.
It could be either with Shannon. That's why I'm like,
Yeah, like.
I read. Okay, so reading. She said I read
Okay.
fast. I
Still,
was
congratulations.
Yeah, you
I
also
don't think
write
I've read
pretty
a book
fast
all
too.
year.
Yeah. See, she
Just
just
crossed
crossed
the
100K words. See?
Yay.
Amazing. Awesome.
Nice. Here's Shannon.
You deserve
killing
a
it.
you deserve a sticker for today.
Congratulations.
This is why Shannon takes a few vacations throughout the year. She hell of a lot deserves them.
I still say she has a clone. I'm just saying.
A clone? Shannon has a whole army of clones.
Yeah, I'm
Something.
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure she has a few of them, like, charging.
Oh, Shannon robot charging. She just takes one out for the day. Yes, I could see that.
And it's like, when some of your like tech tools, they're like low battery. I feel like it's similar. And this
Shannon
shit
bot.
is like low battery. Let me switch.
A Shannon bot. There you go. Shannon bot.
Oh. Honestly, if you don't have a clone or a robot, oh god, it's so impressive. So impressive.
I'm just like, Have y'all watched
Mad,
the Barbie
mad,
movie
mad,
in my
mad
brain?
respect.
When
She said I
JC
want
said
a
that in
Shannon
my
vibe.
brain, I just envisioned Shannon waking up like Barbie woke up, turned and said,
Yeah.
"Good, hi Shannon, hi Shannon." The whole
Yeah.
town just started saying, "Hi Shannon."
Instead of a Barbie world, it's a
Yeah, it's not a
Shannon
Barbie world,
world.
it's a Shannon world.
Wow.
Esther, you want to answer the question?
I see you're skipping over yourself, eh?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you.
I don't have an answer. I don't. I mean, I don't really write. Like, I've written a total of maybe three in my entire writing career, and I don't like writing any. I don't like writing spicy. So I think I'm just gonna like submit to the fact that I'm just not doing that.
Hmm.
Uh, so, I mean, the obvious way is reading and also writing. I'm also a visual person, so I will just watch movies and series that have a little more of a high heat scenes, and depending on the director, usually the cinematography can be a little more like gritty or very like pretty, so I will pay attention to those details, because that visual can help you think of ways to write a spicy scene in a different lens. It might be in a like a pretty um, not whimsical, but yeah, I cannot think of other word that is not pretty. Um, it like you can decide. Most romance books are very female gaze, but you still can't decide how in the spectrum of the female gaze you want to do the spicy scenes. I
Mhm.
also like to pay attention on the emotions, like am I squealing, am I like leaning back and be like, oh my god, if I have pearls I will clutch them right now, or am I
Grabbing
like,
the
oh,
sheets, grabbing the
or
sheets.
I might be like, oh my god, I wish that would be me, or that kind of guy would existed in the world. Like
Why are
different,
they fictional?
yeah, like all of like I will pay attention to both my train of thoughts, as in like emotions and kind of like what I wish would be real, and also with the visual, it's easier to kind of like pinpoint what type of gaze I want the scene to be in it, to
Mhm.
be kind of like develop it, and then I will just go ahead and go to town and write it and mule over it.
Go
Also,
to town, huh?
music.
Go
I
to town,
also
huh?
I always have a specific playlist. I have specific songs that are I only listen when I'm writing steamy scenes. So that's. But I also, everyone knows I use music for basically everything. So yeah, that's how I go about it. Do I improving? I don't know. I mean, we would like to improve every time we write. So I can only hope I am improving. But I also don't read back what I read once it's out in the world. I'm like, I just hope I am improving. D.
Um, okay, so for me, as probably the person on the screen that's been writing Smexy Seats for the longest, um,
Yeah.
it's it's different for me, and a lot of people probably won't even think I struggle with this because I am demi-ace. Most times,
Mhm.
reading Smexy scenes don't work for me because most times, if I don't connect with your character, I'll just skip the Smexy scene. It does not work for me, so I just move on. Um, for me, reading a bunch of Smexy scenes doesn't teach me anything, and it
Mhm.
sounds weird. If I do, on the rare occasion where I do find a Smexy scene that I enjoy, I do jot down like why I enjoyed it, and most times it's based on the character and not the actual scene. So that couldn't help me. So when I was first starting this as a pastor's kid that was not intending on writing smut or spice, I started asking around random places. I That time Twitter was good, and I joined a bunch of little author cliques that would speak about writing Smexy, and they led me down rows of like literati and other things that had me listening to random Smexy stories. Again, it didn't work for me, but a lot of them found that helpful. Some of them also use PORN, and that found them helpful. But
Oh,
again, it depends on the level of smexy that you're writing in your book. If you're writing, because there are three different levels of smexy.
yeah.
There is the very, very like tame, emotional smexy scenes. You can write a smexy scene without ever mentioning a body part,
Mhm.
because there are readers that like that. You can focus
Mhm.
immediately, like 100% on emotion, 100% of how the character is elevating because of the act. And I've seen that done. You can go in the middle where you focus a little bit on which is most of the people that I've read recently, that they focus a little bit on the
Mechanics.
body parts and the act, and a little bit on the emotion, and then you can just go straight out PORNE on a paper. I've written across all three spectrums depending on the characters, and the only thing that I found that really helps me personally is when I spoke to other people. I've literally gone to king clubs. I've gone and talked to people and asked them about. I'm I'm that person that will get into people's business, and I'm just there to listen. I don't judge anybody. I ask them about their sex life. I ask them what they enjoy. I ask them basically why they enjoy it. The only thing I don't do is ask them for videos. I damn near ask them everything else. And then I take notes of what they say. And whenever I'm writing a character that meets like their personality or their what they like, then I write that type of scene. That's the only thing that I could have done to help me. Because again, reading it does nothing for me. When I'm reading a Smexy scene, I'm rooting for the character. If I ever beta read for you, you would hear I am basically telling you, if I'm not like checking to see where hands and feet are, because that's probably where I do what I do most of the times. I'm often talking to the characters because I'm just there for the characters. So I guess you have to figure out what type of Smexy scene you want to write first, and then when you find your lane, try to do whatever helps you as a person. If you like reading Smexy scenes, go for it. Read it and make your notes. If you're a very visual person and you plan to go the hardcore body parts thing, go and watch some PMRN if you have to, or listen to Literatica, I think it was. Or as someone else said in this, just the only way to get better at it is to constantly write it. You don't have to publish it, but you can write it and you can send it to a friend or someone that likes Mixed Scene and say, "Hey, how is this?" Or you can write it and never share it, never give it a time of day. But it's like math. The only way to get better is to keep writing it. That
Yeah.
is my Deidre talk. Go to Nia.
No, I
And,
think
and
that
no distraction.
I probably agree with a little bit of Deidre, a little bit of Esther, a little bit of Tiffany. For me, it's just what I will read something that's to the level to what I feel like is where I want to write, and I'll find the things from that I like, and that's how I write them. And I don't write anything that's on any extremes or in erotica or where we're using objects that are potentially dangerous. So I don't have to do a whole lot of research in that area because I'm just not writing that. And then whenever if I'm doing something that's paranormal, I usually make up whatever the paranormal thing is and maybe add a little bit of that, whether it's werewolves or vampires, I'll add a little bit of their lore into whatever's happening. But mostly just reading, it's to me it's not that different from writing anything else that you're just like, you just want to make sure you get it right, make sure it sounds good to you, and everybody likes something different. I'm probably not going to like the same things that other people like. So I am either writing for a reader like me, or I find an audience like, okay, I'm writing for this particular audience. I kind of know what they like, and so I'll write to that. But again, I'm not adding like chains and swords and so I don't have to worry about that.
Swords.
You'd be
know,
surprised, okay? Swordplay is a
would be
whole
surprised.
thing.
There's
I've seen
all
it in
kinds
real
of
life.
things.
That sounds painful.
There's all
sounds
kinds
painful.
of things that
Again,
people are.
there is a whole group of people that enjoy pain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
bear that in mind.
There's also blood play,
Mhm.
so there's all sorts of kinks out
All
there.
kinds of things.
See, I'm just a curious
I'm
now.
gonna stick to closed
I
doors.
go places to see things just to see them. I have no intention of ever doing these things.
I'm
But
gonna
you
stick
know,
to closed door or right up to the point where we. Yeah, I'm gonna just.
That's fine. That's fine. That's totally
Because
fine.
even me, when I'm reading a romance book, if I don't feel like reading the Smexy, I'll just skip over it. Sometimes I graze through it just to make sure that, because some writers will put important things in there. So if you skip it, you might skip some type of growth or something that someone says. So I kind of like will graze over it if I'm just not. I'm like, okay, here we go, and then I'll just glance through because sometimes I'm just like I don't feel like reading that.
but you know though,
Also,
you
it
know
takes a
based on
very
the writer.
skilled reader to put any development in a very explicit scene, and
No, I've
there are
seen
not
it.
that
I've seen
many.
it done a lot.
Romances, they're in the dark romances.
Yeah.
Some of the dark romances. Let me correct myself. In some of the dark romances, I've seen growth in because, like, especially the ones that use. Okay, I've studied BDSM just because I was intending on writing a whole long world of BDSM. I digress. But when I was studying that, there were people that used BDSM as therapy, and there was growth in those scenes. Like, I can't explain it without getting Laura in trouble with YouTube, but there
Yeah.
were instances where they did things that was to help the person
Yeah,
develop and get over
a lot.
trauma and
A
stuff like
lot of
that.
it is. It's not. It's not role playing quite. It's like when they do like. Was it deep space? Is what they call it. When you go like very deep into.
Subspace.
There you go. There you go. And you kind of like that way, and with a little bit of role playing, a lot of it can be worked through. But also, I'm not a. Not, that's not what I mean. Like if that's the point of it, that's the
Yeah,
point
you'll
of
know
most
before
of
you
the.
get there.
Yeah, but most dark romances spices are. That's not the point. So.
Sure.
I don't skip them. I cringe through them, but I don't skip them. I also don't read a lot of dark romance. I'm just like, a lot of the times I'm like, are you guys stupid? You guys don't have any
Unfortunately,
effing survival in any of your bones? Like,
see,
what?
unfortunately, I like reading dark romance just
I
because
know.
the male in the hero in the dark romances are often overprotective, OTT, like over the top protective, over the top
Oh,
possessive,
they
and
are
I like
obsessive,
those,
possessive,
and I like
paranoid.
those. I have problems clearly, but I like those heroes.
Do we need to tell
So
something to Jay?
my husband is nothing like that, but I like them in fiction. He knows this. It's the same type of movies I watch. I like those movies too. I like those
Oh
books. I
Lord.
can't help it, okay? I cannot help it. That's just what I will sit down and watch them for days, read them for days on marathons. There's
Yeah.
some that is too much. There's some that are too much, but for the most part, they're for the most part.
Lordy Lord.
And I will be
Lordy Lord.
quiet now and mute myself and stop exposing myself to the world.
Lordy Lord.
um,
Oh.
yeah, so I first read them in fanfiction. And so that was like the only romance book I had read pre fanfiction was Pride and Prejudice.
Oh wow.
Oh
Pretty
wow.
sure. I'm pretty sure that's the only romance I'd ever read.
Wow.
I was
That's
more
smart.
fantasy, sci-fi, that kind of stuff.
So you've never read, you didn't, because I've read sci-fi and fantasy books with sexy scenes in them. Again, it may be what I go for, but still, um, I've
No,
read
like there were
sexy
Star
scenes in a
Wars
lot of
books,
different
Doctor Who
genres.
books,
Oh, okay, okay.
middle grade fantasy, Two Princesses of Bonheur.
It,
Yeah.
it would be troubling if you found a sexy scenes in middle grade. So yes,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
True.
Okay,
So
which surprises me, because Laura, where did you learn to write spicy scenes
by reading
and
fan
how to
fiction,
improve them?
and then I wrote my first ever spice scene in Crimson Strings 2 years ago.
That was the first time.
Okay.
Huh?
So
And
your
then
Samantha books came after Crimson String?
after my first
Oh, wow.
spice scene, it took me over 2 years to write the first draft of Crimson Strings.
Oh, wow.
So my first one was a male spice scene,
Mhm.
and then my first ever male-female was Samantha.
Mhm.
Interesting.
So
Very interesting.
yeah,
Right.
so I did a lot of research by like subscribing to certain newsletters that
Mhm.
were like tips for certain types of things. I was like, okay, teach me. So yeah, different things like that, and like an encyclopedia online of different positions, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So like what's physically possible, I don't know. And then yeah,
Like, was it just a random online encyclopedia, or is the encyclopedia that I'm thinking in my brain the same encyclopedia that you're thinking, or that you found?
I think I remember you sharing that site.
I think
I'm
Dee
not
knows.
sharing it.
No, I
It's
think I
an
remember you sharing it
encyclopedia of
before.
gifts. So but yeah, yeah, it was helpful. Yeah, it
I do.
was.
I have so a lot of people recommended me getting that book, Esther. So I did buy that book early on. That's I did buy that book. If anyone,
It is
people
sometimes useful.
people can think y'all can pick up what we're talking about, but there is a book if anyone
Yeah.
wants to learn more that could assist you. I do have that ebook. I have it in ebook. I think I still have it in my Kindle
That's
because I
a good book
transferred
to
it to
have
my
on
Kindle.
ebook.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, there is that, and I recently learned that there is something called Smut University.
I've heard of that.
Oh
I've
Lord.
never used it. I heard of it recently. Never used it, but
Same.
I've heard of it existing, so you can look into that if that's something that you want help with too.
Yeah. Also, just doing searches for like, I don't know, like there's like different things for like piercings and stuff like that. Like, what are they called and where do they go? And just like
Mhm.
diagrams and stuff like that has been helpful.
Yeah.
Also, writing with the senses. So it's not all just A goes into B while C does this. It's how does it make them, what's their internal monologue doing? Like, how is it making them feel?
Yeah.
Because like there's the interiority and the exterior of like what they're saying and doing, and sometimes they don't match up. And so just trying to figure out what their thoughts are and how it's changing how they're acting. And Also,
And
for s-
technically, go ahead, Laura.
sometimes I want the scenes to be pulling their own weight, like pulling double duty. So one of my scenes for my scammer romance, not only is it a spice scene, it's also an interrogation scene. So we're getting info at the same time. So
Sexy.
I know. Idiots. So making those scenes pull their weight has been helpful. So
And also to remember when you're writing a Smexy scene is more than just the act. Just like in real life, you have to use the stages of intimacy. I think in my brain, I could get this wrong. What I learned this a long time ago. I think it's 7 or 8 stages of intimacy. So you have to go all the way down because remember the reader is in it for the journey. Unless you're
Mm-hmm.
writing erotica, then it doesn't really matter. That much it probably does, but not as much as if you're writing, say, a romance. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to take the readers along that journey. Don't just do the acts just to do the act. Take them along the build up and everything.
mhm. Yeah, definitely having the build up, like reading the Sarah Raish books has helped my brain be like, okay, build up the romance. Don't just bang. Like have the build up so you get the feet kicking and squealing and delight at
Yes.
Mhm.
the near almost kisses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
And you
like
get people like me that only read the build up most times.
The,
So
see, this is why I'm gonna die in this hill, but this is why I say watch a K drama. K dramas are masterful at building the tension because a lot of them do not have spice in it. Like there's, it's just it's a thing now that they open the door slightly, but they slam it as soon as at least he is without a shirt. Um, but they are masterful at just like building the tension, and it's just like the pinky fingers are touching, or they press the knee to the other person, or the shoulders brush, or they are looking for more than just a couple of seconds towards each other. And like to build it to the first kiss, Lord Jesus, you're at the first kiss, you're like, come on, do something more because I am dying from this tension. So,
yeah, that's actually one of the top recommended advice in well, I'm in well, it's a Facebook group, it's a public Facebook group. I'm sure we can call it out, but I'm in a group called Writing Gals, which basically they
mm,
talk about sweet closed door clean romance, and that's one of the top things. They even have like weekly focus groups just to watch K dramas. I've never been to any of them, but they do
yes.
have them, and they recommend it heavily. Just they're just as fangirly and passionate about
Ah,
it as Esther is.
you don't need anyone else than me. I have so many. I have list. My mom has list.
her list
We,
has lists.
yeah. Like,
Yeah. So I would say do research,
yes.
and if you need to look at an anatomy textbook to know what is what.
Right? And do not use the scientific name unless you're writing a science book. Do not only use scientific names. Know what the things are called. Please, for
Yeah.
the love of God, know what the things are called. Don't
Yeah.
just call them random things. If you're going the scientific route, be sure you're using the right names. A lot of people mess it up, so I not normally recommend don't go the scientific route because most of the scientific words are not sexy.
Yeah. No.
But if
It
you
And
do
depends
those
know, it's
on your
happening.
character if they're a doctor.
Unless that
yeah,
it
that's true.
matches the character to be thinking and talking that
Yeah.
way.
Also, don't make up weird names for the genitalia. It's just not. I am not gonna say anything about that, Shannon. I'm just.
Shannon, maybe he did it on purpose. You don't know.
Oh gosh.
It might be a small foot, or it might be a skinny foot. Let me shut up. Let me shut up.
Wow. You know, if it's a female, that part stretches, so a lot of things can go in there. I'm just saying.
Like a fetus.
Mhm.
Anyway.
At
Yeah.
least he can say he put a. No, Esther, stop! Stop!
Oh dear.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I find a lot of I do a lot of my reading spice through fan fiction. But yeah, because I don't know, man. AO3 is my jam.
Could it be that you like that because you're already connected to the characters?
Probably. I already have the emotional connection to the characters.
Mm. I could see that.
Also, there's some trashy fanfic that you just enjoy because of the trashiness. So it's always a good fun.
I usually read the better ones.
I mean, I trashy fan fiction is what makes the pathway to good fan fiction. So let them be the cobblestone of the good fan fiction.
Yeah. Anyway, that was fun. So
It was.
yeah. So let me find the final timer. And scroll it on down. Oh.
Oh,
What?
is that the
What?
Hook series, Shannon? I think I heard that. I'm sorry, there is this. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
So
There
he
is-
didn't fist it, he wristed it?
So they're in the Hooked series. I don't know if this is the one Shannon is talking about, but it's this dark romance series that
think it's called
rewrote the
Hooked.
fairy tales. And I heard that Captain Hook done uses Hook for good things.
Seems that he got them hooked.
I'm sorry.
Wait, he exactly said what? That he hooked them or that he wristed them?
Oh my gosh!
Bravo!
Roy.
Yes, Roy.
And Lord
Yes.
telling us to behave. I'm like, aren't you supposed to be working?
Ah.
Okay. Let us do our final sprint. Emily McIntyre,
Yes, that's the same one, Hooked, right?
probably.
I haven't gotten to Hooked yet, but yes.
So,
I was reading.
such a distinguished sounding name.
I think I was reading. I think it's called Crossed, where it's the Judge Frollo one.
Oh. See, I've only read Scarred, but I'm making my way down. I'm not reading them in order, and oh my goodness. School needs to end. If school ends, I can power through them.
Oh.
Okay.
Fucking
Poor-
Tank by Holly Roberts.
Poor Tinkerbell.
Ooh.
Is she like tiny or human size?
Poor Tinkerbell.
It's part of a promo, not published yet.
Oh, okay.
Lord.
Well, now, thank you, Shannon. See, they should hire you as part of their street team because now I want to read it.
I still my question. Okay, she's human size, but tiny human size.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh.
Interesting times. So, do you think we'll have time for one final question? Why not? Any tips for making point of view character voices unique? And we will start our final sprint in 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome back, welcome back. Hello?
I'm here.
Yay!
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, it's not
Is-
so dark.
I know. Like, it's still sunny out there ish.
Yeah, all that sunshine.
Yeah.
It's dark here.
Yeah, it's darker too, but
Just how I like it.
Dark like my soul. Well, I scrolled and I may have gotten another little sleeve of Ritz.
Nice.
Yeah. But, yeah. I don't remember why I was scrolling. Terrible.
That's okay. It's the end of the stream.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the text that dinner's ready.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Ooh,
Yeah.
my power just flicked, so my internet might cut out.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
no.
Oh no!
Okay.
You want to answer the first question first, Nia?
What?
And she's gone.
she barely
I
had a
figured.
chance to let us know.
She didn't want to.
If your power flicks, you know that means your modem shut off. But I guess
Yeah.
modem have a battery, so it gives you a little time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
So-
you, JC?
What'd you get up to?
I just ate dinner.
Nice.
Nice. I should eat dinner, but it's almost time where I get back my company, so I'll just wait.
I'm almost done watching the video of our goals, projects, and tasks. That's the one that I watch the most as a refresher when I am doing my planning for the quarter, so I can make sure that I am not confusing projects and tasks with goals. So I'm almost done. I have like 4 more minutes, and then I can just be like, okay, I can write my goals for the next quarter.
Nice.
I'm still very ambitious, but it's April. We're in Aries season. April is my month. I'm just gonna remind myself that I am the head of the zodiac, and I am that big, so I should be able to do it all.
Nice.
Okay. Queen Esther.
That's my
You can do
well. There's actually a queen
I know.
in the Bible.
I know.
I just flipped my hair. No one saw it, but I just flipped it. Because again, I am that bee.
I could
gotta
so
remember
imagine
that.
you. I could so imagine you flipping there.
Gotta remember that.
What'd you get up to, D?
I continued reading through my book until I realized that I done messed up and had a few chapters that weren't really chapters. They were more like short stories with
Oh.
10,000 words. So I stopped and I started breaking up things into chapters, and now I have a jigsaw. But I'm used to having a jigsaw, so that's fine.
Wow,
Fine.
you were like really
Kinda your
into
thing, isn't it?
writing
The thing
this.
But no, because this is what happens when I write in parts because school. So like I was
Yeah.
writing like little pieces, and then there was a 3 week period where I didn't write, and so I had to like rush through it. So I was just dictating and going and going and going,
Yeah.
and forgot to stop.
Yeah, you were in the zone. You forgot to break the zone, but now you can
Yeah.
do it.
See, Shannon says, as far as progress for the sprint, my brain was fizzling out. Got 8 words added in editing.
8 words is better than nothing.
Yeah, true.
Unless you're trying to take them out. Jessica says 439, putting me at 1,374 words for the stream. Heck yes! Oh, dang.
I wanted to share
Yeah,
more,
it's
but I was
okay.
yawning. So
I knew the book had problems when I looked at it and saw that it had 8 chapters and 50 something thousand words. I'm like, something is
what?
right.
Deidre in 8 chapters and a 55K.
Ma'am,
Whoa!
ma'am.
It's okay. It's
Wow!
okay. It's fine. I wasn't
It would
finished
be
that chapter.
memorable to a
I
reader.
was about to say, there's going to be some long chapters.
And you dare to kind of like slap me in the head because I had
And
a
this was
chapter that was
after.
almost 3K?
This was the funny thing is this was the same because I remember being in Zara's chat and you
Mm.
saying you were at was it 3,000 something in the chapter and I was like
Yeah!
Esther, this is a short, and it was that same week that I went and sat down.
How dare you! How dare you!
What does D
The
always say, though? D
audacity!
always says,
It
do
was
as
I
I
say,
say, not as
not
I
if I
do.
do.
The audacity! thank, thank God I am not about name adding names to your name like Tiffany. Because if I was, your name would be a mile long at this point. The
That's
Welcome back,
audacity.
okay.
Mia.
I can be Deidre, Mary, Sue, Georgette,
Deidre, Ann, Penelope, Georgina,
Regina. Wow.
Anderson.
Wow.
How
Georgina.
dare you?
Wow.
I am
Mia.
here complaining about just my 3K, and she's like 10K for a single chapter.
I broke it up. The only problem is, do you guys write when, because in romance you normally have like the dual POV,
Yeah.
but now because I've broken up the chapters, so like you have hero, 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 heroine, heroine, hero, 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 heroine, hero, hero, hero. I mean, the story
I.
still makes sense, but it's not
Yeah,
easy.
it's okay. It doesn't have to be even. Like, I wouldn't. I don't think I have ever heard a reader be like, oh, I DNF this book because it was just like her POB, his POB three in a row, and then her POB two times, and his.
See,
Like, I have not heard a reader complaining about that.
what if you don't like the character though, and you just start getting that character, that character, that character, and then, but okay.
Then we'll just be annoyed a little bit. Like, not you again.
Like, why are
I
you
mean,
back? I thought I got rid of you.
I do that with multi POVs. Like, there's some books that I'm just like, we're again in this head? Damn! Let me skim through this.
Okay.
Welcome back, Mia.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Is everything good?
Yes.
Yeah, Roy's just whining.
Oh.
Hi, Jessica.
Bye, Jessica. Have a good night.
Yeah. So the question is, any tips for making point of view characters' voices unique? Anybody want to chime in?
I don't think Nia said what she did on her sprint.
I did more.
Came back.
Yeah, I did. Well, yeah, I was here, and then I got it out by accident. Yeah. So what did I do? I did a little bit of cleaning and then some more planning and listened to a little bit more of this audiobook. I think I like it, but it's weird when I don't read first. So it just takes me longer to decide if I actually like it if I don't start reading, like visually seeing the words first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this one I just jumped right into the audiobook because I was like, I got things to do. So, but yeah, but it's good. So yeah, that's what I did. Do we want to answer the question too, or just we're just doing what we worked on? Or?
Answer.
If you want to answer.
Ooh, tips. Okay, if you're struggling, of course, doing the little personality test. So sometimes helps. One thing that also helps is if your character is similar to a character that you've seen on TV or in a movie, you can kind of mimic their voice. And that can help you to make their voice more distinct. Like, if you're, what's the girl from Legally Blonde, the main character?
Reese.
If that's kind of like her personality, and then you can kind
Elwood.
of, yeah,
Elwood.
Elle?
Elle, yeah. So you can kind of mimic Elle's voice, or maybe if
I
she,
should probably watch that movie.
yeah, or maybe if you're mimicking the boss from The Devil Wears
Four
Prada.
good movies.
You know what I mean? So sometimes you can, because your character.
Or Jennifer Coolidge's character in that. Well, you said you didn't
Yeah,
watch that movie, but
yeah,
she was a personality.
yeah. So
Oh
that's
boy,
like,
is she.
Or these movies that you know, the Joker. He's a whole personality.
he's a
Which
lot of
Joker?
personality.
Which Joker? They're mixed up.
But
Anyone.
like doing
Any
that
of them.
can help you make your characters not start to sound like each other, because that can help happen by accident too when you're writing. Sometimes you start forgetting, like, wait, you sound like this person, and when the reader's reading, that can be a little bit bothersome if they're reading and they can't tell which character is talking.
Mhm.
So there's some tips to help.
Awesome sauce.
I will say if they are from if they're from a different culture, maybe see if there are phrases that are commonly used that you can add them to their vernacular. Maybe if they are of first, second, third generation in the U.S., they might speak in a different way. They might construct their sentence in a different way. They might relate to things like people might relate things to like media or movies or comic books, and that's gonna feed into their voice because that's gonna be the lens that they're gonna look at the world. So find what makes them distinctive in their communication and see if that is a lens that you can use. Like I love to add Spanish in my books. So it depends on which country they're from. I may add some like like commonly used phrases, or they might just compare a lot of things to what they're used to see in their family or what they used to see in the country when they visit their family who are still living in whichever country I decided they are from, compared to what they are used to day in the US. Things like that.
Very cool.
For me, I like to give them wild personality traits. So, like, I always have someone that's the Lulu, because I'm from the Lulu land, and I try to give Farlet stuff. So if one is the Lulu, she gonna be far the Lulu. If one is sassy, she gonna be far sassy. If one man is protective, he gonna be very like it's going to be their defining trait. I don't do well with writing in between characters. Anyone that reads anything I've written can tell. I don't do well with a good medium. If they're Delulu, they're gonna be Delulu to the max, and if they're sassy, they're gonna be sassy to the max.
Yeah.
Because
Tea
that's
is
how
not
I keep
vanilla.
them. Well, I won't say that because that comes off different if I say it out my lips. But
That's why I said it.
but yeah, I try to go extremes. That may not work for everyone, but it keeps my characters different, and they know it's me when they're reading it, because they will read an extremely over the top sassy woman and like, well, yeah, sassy to the point of bitchy, and it works. So,
Sassy to the point that you're like, golly.
but I did that on purpose, so that means it works.
I know, but
Oh,
what?
I struggle with this though
Yeah,
because if I have a group of friends and if I make one too extreme, they can't have their own story because I'm like I cannot write a whole story with you because you're going to get on my nerves.
yeah.
So if they're going to have a story, I have to rein them or at least make them so they're rein-inable because I'm like we can't do that for a whole book. No.
I'm gonna be like, honey, we need to come to Jesus, or I don't know, or you need to find a new ride or something. I don't know.
Like, sorry, honey, you don't get your own book because I can't deal with you. I'm not going to
Yeah.
make you deal with you.
That's and they're so like I completely understand what Dee says because there's a few times her characters do something that I'm like, thank the Lord you're a fictional because then I will, if you're not, I will be kicking your ass. You're being damn.
But then it gets a rise out of people. That just see, it gets a rise out of you, which means I'm doing my job. It made you feel something. I'm not the emotional writer. I don't know. I can't. You'll not read my books and cry. And if you
No,
do,
I read your
I
books
must
and
have been really
rage.
been in a vibe. But you gonna be upset because there's probably gonna be a little sprinkle of drama. You gonna be upset,
Rage.
and yeah, but you'll get an emotion.
There you go.
So
If you're stressed, either read these books to release the stress, or don't read them if you don't want to be more stressed. Just a PSA.
What about you, JC?
I think I just make sure I think knowing your characters helps. That I think kind of what Diva, well, maybe not the extreme side though, but I think um, but I think knowing your characters helps you find their voice because you'll know, like, if you have a really sarcastic character, um, no, how do I say this? I mean, if you have a really sarcastic character, you know you're not going to write them saying anything like too mushy
mellow.
or
Mm.
yeah. So you know that like that don't sound like them. That's not I'm not saying this right,
Oh, say
but
it's making
get to
sense.
know your character. I like that's why I like to in my outlining process. I like to sketch out my characters and flesh them out so that I can get intimate with my characters, so to speak, so that I know them. So when I start writing, I know who they are, and so I know how they talk and how they speak to people. If that makes sense. No, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
That makes sense. It's sort of like your friend group. If someone comes to me and said Laura said something, I would know if I would already have a sense of if it's true or not because
Like, nah, Laura ain't
I
say
know
that.
your character. Like I'm like, Laura didn't say that. Like word for word, Laura said this. You're sure? Okay.
She
Laura
don't
didn't
even
say
talk
that.
like that.
I'll
Tea
know
is
in my
bland
head.
as toast.
Versus if they come to me and say Esther said something, I'll be like, huh? That doesn't sound like Esther, or that doesn't sound like JC, or not Nia, because you know your friends. So it makes sense. It makes sense. I could see that.
Yeah. I think I want to try something that I haven't done before with the Halloween romance.
Mhm.
I think I want to try and do some journaling as the characters to try and figure out their inner thoughts and
Interesting.
Yeah,
how
I've
they
done that
speak.
before. Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
So,
We should set up a little game. What would your character say? And then we throw a bunch of scenarios your way. Like, how would your character respond to this?
Oh Lord, that sounds so
How
similar
would your
to the.
character respond to this? Which one of your characters would likely do? You know that thing they do on social media, where they say like they do like kids or whoever or siblings or whatever is like, which one of your characters which one of your sibling or child or whatever is most likely to do this, and then either dunk their head in water or something. We should do something like that, but with your characters. Like who's most likely to go to jail?
Mm.
Who's most likely to
Vesper.
Huh?
Vesper's most likely to go to jail.
Oh, we were talking about
Me?
characters, not
Characters.
actual people.
Why me?
No, Vesper with a V.
Oh. I'm like, where?
Oh.
What?
I thought she said Esther. Look, Esther, I thought
I
she
did not hear Esther, but because Esther shouted, I was like, oh my god. Like,
Esther's going to jail.
Brennan would be in jail too.
oh gosh.
Brennan would be in jail too.
But like, yeah, because that would help you know the characters. Like, which one is most likely to go to jail? It's a Laura story. Which one is most likely to take the skin off this person? Which one is more likely to
Oh, that's
maybe
Laura.
turn this person? Which one is most likely to drink this person to death? Like, give better.
Which one is most likely to use a rib spreader?
Jeez.
Oh my.
Girl, I'd be right in jail with her. I'm still offended.
Hold on. The best thing was when Dee read The Weight of Her and said she felt like she was committing a crime right alongside. I was like,
Wait, what?
oh, that's good. I like to hear that. Thank you.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I've never done that with my characters, but it would be. It sounds like a fun way to get to know your characters.
Yeah, I think I want to make like their diaries from their childhood up to when the story starts.
Hey, that would be good. That would be good. Reader swag and bonus
then when you
content. So I
publish
say
it-
do it.
Yeah, I was about to say when you publish it, that could be good bonus content or good,
Yeah.
you know.
But that is a lot of work.
Yeah, they can be repurposed after you're done. All your playlists that you have, the backstories, then you're gonna do them in a journal format. So hey,
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
readers would love it.
And it's not wasted because it helps you get to know the characters. It helps you get to
Mhm.
know them in a different way than you would have.
And I'll
otherwise.
know their backstory.
Exactly.
Y'all fascinate me. If I was still in my planning era, I'm no longer in that era. But if I was still in my
Were you
planning
ever?
era, I was when I first started. I keep telling y'all. When I first started, I was a heavy outliner, a heavy planner. But what happened was I ended up outlining a bunch of stories and never writing them because in my brain, I then already left that world. Like I've lived in that world. I've written it. I'm done. But I didn't write it. I just felt that way.
So, Shannon had. Oh, here was Jessica's. Nope. And then Shannon's was always have a word or phrase that only one character says. I tend to do this with curses. Like my current wit, my male main character says God's balls.
God's balls.
But this can also be like one character who always starts a conversation with saying something like, specific words and phrases sticks with readers so that after a while they don't need a dialogue tag or beats and they know who it is.
That's a good idea.
But in internal dialogue, I create the unique voices through the lens of their experience. In my last book, my female main character saw everything through the lens of growing up in the ocean, mermaid. Certain phrases only specific to that character as well, like her insides turning into salt water whenever she was fearful. In my current work in progress, my female main character is trying to find her brother, who has appeared in 2 other stories. I just reviewed his scenes in those other stories, and the word injustice came up with plot. So I wrote that down to make sure I include that as part of his character when the female main character finally finds him. Because I have characters across multiple books and stories, I've gone through and pulled out all of their dialogue and internal dialogue and thoughts and have studied them to see what makes them unique. Like, I know one tends to use more formal language, another talks a whole lot without really saying anything, that kind of stuff. You could also pair an action with their voice. I have one character who always crosses an arm on top of the other right before she takes control of the conversation. This signals to the other characters what is about to happen, as well as to the readers, and she's not she is not one to mess with, so everyone listens. Pretty awesome.
Interesting. I never thought about giving them a catchphrase, but that could be fun.
I think
Especially
Tiffany
if they're
Tiffany
funny,
does
yeah.
that a lot. Tiffany does
Yeah,
that a lot.
if
in her
they're
book.
funny catchphrases.
Fiddlesticks, apple toes. I love her. I love her phrases. I'm like, how do you come up with these?
See, I didn't even think of it in fiction. I just thought of it of her as like if someone, like anytime someone says something weird, I think of Tiffany because she's always saying these weird phrases. So I could see that working for characters too.
Yeah.
Never thought of it.
Some of my, especially my comic characters, have their little phrases.
Snapple apple is my favorite.
Oh, Snapple Apple.
Yeah. Mickey Mouse Club. Yeah, so that's about it.
You know, oh my
Some
goodness.
skedaddle.
Laura, you know what just came to my mind when they said keyword and phrases? It's not a keyword, but I just thought of Saskatchewan. Based on what I read, out of the blue, it just came to my mind. And it came from you,
What one?
Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan, yeah. No, it's Saskatoon.
Oh, yeah, Saskatoon. It was Saskatoon, yeah. Saskatoon. I was like, what? But yeah.
Mm-mm.
If
Anyway.
you know, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to skip outros and just wave off into the sunset. Thank you all so much for being here. It's been fabulous. And I will be on Taylor and Wright's channel tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's 2 p.m. my time. So, yeah. Let me find my media assets. Outro. Bye!
Bye.